Hey everybody, Kaoiji here. So I just want to let you guys know that I did in fact get into the closed beta test 2 for Phantasy Star Online 2 New Genesis, and we are going to be streaming both days, or pretty much the entire duration of the beta. So if you guys haven't already done so, I'm already going to be streaming pretty much the day before and the entirety of the week, because not only are we getting an update over on the global side, but we do also have the Prologue 2 stream that's going to be going live pretty much the day before the beta. Now, I'm definitely biting off a lot more than I can chew because I'm currently working on the lore videos that I promised you guys. And then now with being able to play the closed beta test for the New Genesis side of things, yeah, I've mentioned it before. I really don't think I'm getting any sleep whatsoever. But anyway, now that with all that out of the way, let's go over some quick information from the questionnaire that we got over on the Japanese side for the closed beta test 1. A majority of you guys might already be familiar with a lot of this information, especially considering the fact that a lot of other content creators have already covered it so far. So we're just going to let you guys know that a majority of the players didn't actually hit the max level cap of 15 during the duration of the closed beta test. A lot of this was actually due to time constraints during the first closed beta test, so a lot of players weren't actually able to take full advantage of the entire duration, especially with a lot of players also bouncing back between the PSO2 side of things and the New Genesis side of things. During closed beta test 2, it's only going to be focusing on the New Genesis side of things, as no characters are going to be transferring over from PSO2 into New Genesis. So you might see the percentage going up from 10% all the way to a much higher percentage, especially since the closed beta test is basically twice the length of the previous one. They mentioned the class ratio, which a majority of players were actually playing Hunter this time around. And I'm sure a lot of the reason a lot of people were playing Hunter is basically to gauge how quick the combat was going to be, because considering the Hunter is the slowest class in Phantasy Star Online 2 currently, it's gotten a lot faster in New Genesis. So what better way to gauge the speed of combat than with playing one of the originally slower classes? Now, they then go on to say that 65% of players wanted playing for all 3 days, where 20% played for only 2, and then 15% played for 1. I'm sure you're going to see again that number be much higher, as now more people are going to be able to play that, and the duration for day 2 and 3 are basically intertwined, as day 2 and 3 go into one another. Now, another thing they went on to go to say is that the character creator was probably one of the best things about the previous closed beta test. So now that a lot of players already have that over the Japanese side, I'm almost sure that you'll start to see more players be a lot more critical when it comes to the gameplay aspects. There was also the conversation about the hard drive space, and then also it being a little bit more difficult to log in, considering you had to select a version that you wanted to log in from going to either PSO2 or New Genesis. The other part of it is that you needed the original PSO2 in order to log into New Genesis, and that might be something they're going to be changing over in the second closed beta test, considering it's just a New Genesis client. They also then go on to say a couple things about the in-game graphics, making it so that with the font is a lot bigger and easier to read, because a lot of players were actually complaining that the text was just too small, and as a result the user interface was actually a lot more difficult to navigate than otherwise. They then go on to say that they're going to be taking measures at the time of official service or official release, so that way the warehouse menu is able to use and other fonts are that much larger. They then ask players the overall satisfaction of the way that the classes themselves want to play, Fighter being the one that's basically overwhelmingly positive, while everyone else seems to think that the rest of the classes, albeit good, still need a little bit of work. And you can see that because the orange is basically very good, and then the yellow is good. So for each and every single one of the classes, there are definitely a lot more players saying that they're good versus the ones that are saying that they're not all that great versus bad. And then they go on to ask players about the main tasks and side tasks. I feel like this one's a little bit on the neutral to not that great side, mainly because they didn't really have the ability to fully test out the main and side task features. However, they did mention that gathering is probably one of the things that's more difficult in PSO2 New Genesis than it was previously. So they are going to be working on that. And then the next part of everything is the element of exploration and combat section. Again, gathering was a little bit more difficult, so that was met with a lot of neutral to it's bad or very bad. They did mention that this is going to be something that's going to be addressed during the second closed beta. They also then mentioned that end grinders will be a little bit more available during the beta because the amount of them were not that many. However, a lot of people did wind up saying that the exploration and combat, it was in fact very good, with a combined total of 62%. And then when it comes to cocoons, it seems that while a lot of things were in fact good or very good, it seems that players find this entire feature a little bit more neutral and or bad or very bad. And the reason I feel for this is because I feel like players are wanting to see more come out of this, because basically what we saw during closed beta test 1 is that cocoons and whatnot were used mainly as a tutorial. Now, my personal opinion here is that cocoons actually have a great way of being able to service the entire game with unique content that you won't be able to do anywhere else. And I feel like a lot of players already see that potential, so I don't think anybody wants to see that potential in and of itself squandered in any sort of way. And then the next portion is about trials that appear out in the open world, and it seems a lot more of these were kind of like met with a 50-50, or at least close to, where a lot of players were either neutral or they didn't really like them versus the players that actually did like them. So they did say that they are going to be adding adjustments to this feature so that way various trials and difficulties can be delivered. So I'm sure that this is going to be something that they're going to be going over during the second closed beta test, so that way players have the ability to then see what they're going to be doing and adjust it even further for the main game. Now, the next portion was about urgent quests. Now, believe it or not, there was actually a lot of conversation when it comes to urgent quests because players weren't able to match into urgent quests the same way that they would normally. Basically, players were then teleported to the urgent quest area, but they weren't thrown into an already matched party. They were usually having to then invite each other into a party while they were at the area, which is a little bit of a hassle all its own compared to the current system where it'll either throw you in a party or you can put down a party marker and people can join from that party marker. So that's where I think a lot of players were a little bit confused on what the actual questionnaire was asking, because then they go on to say that regarding the matching system for urgent quest, we've received many opinions such as multiple problems such as the number of people being matched may not be displayed correctly, and then the voting system is difficult to understand. So we should be seeing the update and a lot of things that were broken during the first closed beta test immediately fixed for the second. Now, the movement features from Photon Glide, Dash, the Ryugu device, and the multi-weapon system was met with very positive reviews, with the thing called the mag range sonar, which is basically allowing you to be able to see a lot of the new discoveries such as additional Ryugu devices or even places to gather and whatnot, wasn't exactly as good as it should have been. So while it is a neat feature, it definitely could be improved upon. So a lot of players found up being neutral when it comes to that. But overall, the first closed beta test was met with very positive remarks, with players then saying in the additional comment section that they're looking forward to the official service to do their best, and they're also looking forward to it. There was also the fact that a lot of players would actually like to opt into either downloading New Genesis or PSO2 due to the very large capacity for the game, being the fact that it's basically 100 gigs. There was also the feedback that a lot of players felt like the enemy count wasn't exactly the largest, considering the fact that we're in an area where there is a multi-party of 8 people. It feels like there's just not enough to be able to facilitate all of the parties that are around. Yeah, I tripped over my tongue. You do it too. So this is something that they are going to be testing during the closed beta test, so that way when official service is live, they should be able to give everybody the amount of ads that they're requiring, while also keeping the balance and concentration on the new mechanics when it comes to each individual enemy, improved on, I guess. There was also the feedback that they wound up getting that they don't want the urgent quest or emergency quest system to literally be the cycle of play style, because that's basically how it is currently in PSO2, where that the only way to truly progress is by participating in urgent or emergency quests. They then wound up saying that the entirety of NGS is designed so that not only emergency quests, but also the exploration and battle sections are important for character development, item collection, and enhancement. And then advanced notice emergency quests will be held during special times such as events. So it does seem that they don't really want to focus on the overall, emergency quest is the only way to progress in the game. And then finally ending out with the entire evaluation, saying that a lot of people are looking forward to it, with an overwhelming 80% are looking to play the game when it's officially launched, and they're going to continue playing PSO2 and NGS, while the other 19% is basically saying that they're kind of on the fence about it, and then 1% saying that they won't be returning. Now, it really has to make me wonder what it was that people didn't like about PSO2 New Genesis, because even though 80% is still a great number to look at, there is the part of me that's saying that, what about the other 20%? What didn't they like? So far, I feel like I've only heard a lot of good things, and having the chance to be able to play the closed beta test myself is going to be this great, thing. So I'm hoping that with the information that we're going to be getting, as well as all of the translations that we're going to be working on and so on and so forth, that we're going to have that information and maybe figure out why it is players didn't exactly be completely fulfilled with Phantasy Star Online 2 New Genesis. So then I pass the question off to you, and I'm sure a lot of you guys have already studied these results, or if you've seen them for the first time, let me know your thoughts. I'm going to be leaving a link down in the description below. But yeah, let me know your thoughts, because I'm a little bit curious as to what you guys think. Are you skeptical? Are you not? And then also, are you guys going to be watching my stream during the time of the closed beta test? Because we are going to be streaming the entire duration of the beta. The idea is I'm going to be streaming pretty much the entirety of the first duration day, which I think is about 6 hours. And then I'm going to be putting in basically a 28-hour streaming the entirety of the second and third day, just to make sure that I'm able to get enough footage and also interact with the community as much as possible. So if you haven't already followed me on Twitch, please do so. Right now, I'm actually at the time of recording this video, going through the Trails in the Sky game, but we're going to be done with that before the new update. So then immediately after that, we're going to be playing, whatever comes out in global, and then getting ready for the closed beta test. But I have high hopes for the closed beta test right now, mainly because it seems like there's just a lot of things that they're already looking to improve on. It doesn't seem to me like they're trying to, skimp out on this. This is something that this is their baby. This is the future of PSO2. So I don't really feel like anywhere, shape, or form that they're going to be dismissing feedback. And it makes it almost more likely that there might be a global beta, mainly because I'm sure that they want to gain the opinion, or at least the mindset, of some of the global players, but only after some of the more dedicated player base currently take a look at the closed beta test 1 and 2. So while they had a release date that was slated for spring for New Genesis, I don't think we're going to be seeing that until the end of spring, because I'm sure that what they want to do is be able to make this game the best it possibly can, with then being able to delay it as minimally as possible. But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. But as always, thank you guys again for watching. Stay awesome, stay beautiful. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace. I'm out.